have a business, then you've definitely heard about niching down and how this can be a really powerful strategy to help grow your business. But what you probably don't hear a lot of is exactly how do you find this magical niche? And so that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. 4 really easy steps to find your niche. And I'm going to be using myself as an example and just telling you a little bit about how I was able to go from a background in accounting to actually creating my own event design business. You'll want to watch to the very end because not only will you learn how to find your niche, I'm going to tell you about my Kingpin strategy to dominate your niche once you actually do find it. The first step you want to take to find your niche is just to figure out an overall focus within your broader industry. Now, in order to do this, you'll want to do a little bit of Google research just to find out the different categories within an industry. For me, I started my business right after I got married and I just fell in love with the world of weddings. But I was torn between did I want to do wedding planning or wedding flowers. And so in this initial phase where you're just trying to figure out what category you're going to be in, you want to ask yourself 2 simple questions. The first question is just what are you most passionate about? What really excites you? And the second question is what's going to be the best fit given your strengths and your background. So for me, I was most excited about wedding flowers. And so that's the path that I decided to go down. During this first stage of you trying to figure out what category you want to be in, it's going to be really tempting to, want to pick more than one category. And I'm really going to encourage you not to do this. The whole point of niching down is to get really specific about who your company is trying to serve and what you want to be known for. So once you have your focus within an overall industry, the second step is to find your niche. So to find out what your niche is, ask yourself 3 questions. The first one is what type of work really excites you? The second question is what kind of clients do you want to work with? And the third question is what makes sense given your geographic location? So for me, I knew I wanted to work on over-the-top flowers. I'm Nigerian, and so that gave me a really unique insight into Nigerian weddings, the mindset, the culture. So that was something unique in my background that was a strength for me. The thing that was important is geography and the fact that there is a huge Nigerian population where I live. And so those 3 things together came together to help me find my niche. Over-the-top Nigerian weddings in the Washington, D.C. area. I tell you that you can mentally picture what that client looks like. And so when you tell people what your niche is, they should have a very clear picture about who that person is. And you want to get as specific as I did. This does not mean that this is the only clients that I serve, but this means that whenever I'm trying to figure out my brand messaging, whenever I'm trying to figure out kind of my brand identity, I have this one ideal client in mind and I use that as my North Star for all of my different branding decisions. Now, at this point, you might be saying to yourself, Halima, there's this huge wedding market. And so you're telling me you're going to focus in on this narrow slim of it? And the answer is absolutely. When you are starting your business, you want to be a big fish in a small pond. You do not want there to be a ton of competition. I know that a lot of us grew up thinking that competition is a really great thing, but as a business owner, competition can kill your business. And if you don't believe me, just listen to this talk by PayPal founder Peter Thiel called Competition is for Losers. Now, don't listen to it right now. Finish watching this video first. I promise there's really good stuff coming up. Once you get through finding your niche, the third step is to do a little bit of market research to understand that niche a little bit better. And during this market research phase, you are going to want to answer 3 questions. The first one is just gathering some demographic information about your ideal client. So you want to know their age, their income, their education, just a general profile of who this person is. The second question is who are they currently buying from? So you want to understand what's working in the marketplace and what's not so that you can find some opportunities for yourself. The third question and the most important question is why do they buy? Now this is a little bit tricky because you're basically trying to get into the minds of your clients, but this is important to understand. And generally what you have to keep in mind is that the only reason people buy anything is because they're trying to solve a problem. And there are 2 layers of problems. There are internal problems and then there are external problems. The external problem is kind of what you see at the surface. Let's say I'm in the market to buy a car. That's my external problem is I need need a car. The internal problem though is I want a car that reflects my status in society, how much I've accomplished. And so internal problems are the reasons why people will buy a Mercedes versus a Honda. So there's two layers of problems, and you want to understand not just the surface level problem that your client has. You want to understand the internal problems. What are they really struggling with? What keeps them up at night? Really quickly, before I tell you about the fourth and final step, if you are finding this video valuable, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me a lot. Plus, you get to see more valuable content like this. So the fourth and final step to actually dominating your niche is a two-part strategy that I use. The first part is the Kingpin strategy. So the Kingpin strategy is essentially figuring out who the big players are in your niche. In every industry, there are going to be people who have a disproportionate amount of influence, who are really seen as the thought leaders in that industry. And what you want to do is identify those people and then figure out how you can work with them. Now, I'm not telling you to be sketchy or to be slimy or to try and use people. What I am telling you is that you should be strategic with who you want to work with. And you should be mindful of the fact that there are people who have much more influence in your industry. If you're able to work with those people, then subconsciously, people will start to look at you as an industry leader as well. That's the first part of the market entry strategy that I use. So the second part of my market entry strategy is my unicorn strategy. And what this simply means is finding new products and services that you can offer that no one else has on the market. And this is going to help you stand out. Now, how do you find these new products and services? They come when you have a very deep level of understanding of what your customer needs are. When you understand your customers, when you understand what they value most internally, psychologically, then you're able to come up with new products that are going to meet that unmet need. I hope that all of this was helpful for you. If it was, just hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you next time.